Today is April 12th, 2009. Today is celebrated as Easter. And I'm just getting in from traveling. Settled in. I turn on the TV and I see this.
And you bring that evidence to this world, they're not going to believe it. I'll let you decide. But that scripture says, though they dig into hell. Let me read to you this account. In the early 1900s, and I received this in 1984, I received the letter concerning this, but we didn't have the internet up like it is now and all of the kind of things that were going on. In the early 1900s, a team of researchers from the former Soviet Union drilled a hole into what some think may be a gateway to hell. Dr. Viktor Azakov, a Russian geologist, was on a mission with other scientists to drill a 9-mile deep hole in remote Siberia to hear plate movements in the middle of the earth. After drilling several miles into the bedrock, something strange began to happen. Dr. Azakov states, at about 2,000 feet down, a cavern had been reached. The drill suddenly began to rotate wildly, indicating that we had reached a large empty pocket or cavern. Temperature sensors showed a dramatic increase in heat to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It is almost as if there was a fiery inferno raging into the Earth's core. We lowered a microphone designed to detect the sounds of the plate movement down the shaft. But instead of the plate movement, we heard a human voice screaming in pain. At first, we thought the sound was coming from our own equipment. But when we made adjustments, our worst suspicions were confirmed. The screams weren't those of single humans. Although one voice was prominent, we could also make out, as if in the background, the screams of thousands, perhaps millions of tormented souls. This is what they heard. Play it. What you heard just a moment ago is 39 seconds of what they actually heard on that day. Some will say, well, I don't believe that. Others will say, I've never heard anything like it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be duped. We know it's real. That describes perfectly what the Bible talks about with weeping and gnashing of teeth. And what you heard, some will say, well, somebody made that up. They don't believe the evidence. But let's go on. The Bible.
The clip you just saw aired on Creflo Dollar's TV program, which comes on several stations all over America and all over the world. And it aired on Easter, April 12th, 2009. When I saw this clip, I froze and almost fell over because I could not believe that Creflo Dollar was actually reading this, what he was reading, and I could not believe that he actually played that audio clip. And I was stunned because I know for a fact that what Creflo Dollar was presenting as in terms of the letter that he read, or the letter or the news story that he read that was talking about this hole that was drilled into the earth that was supposedly a gateway to hell, and the audio clip that he played, I knew that that had been debunked as a hoax almost 20 years ago. That was debunked in the 90s. And Creflo Dollar indicated that he received a letter about this in 1984, supposedly. And just to cut to the chase, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of what I've been talking about on a number of occasions and a number of videos that I have done, making a number of points. One point has to do with a passage of scripture I read in 2 Peter chapter 2, which talks about how false teachers, because of their false teaching, how they bring shame upon the Christian faith. And this is one example, because Creflo Dollar is supposedly, and also another point, how many of these ministry leaders present themselves as experts. They have these PhDs and THDs and these degrees that they get from illegitimate institutions, and they come on television and present themselves as experts, and they prove over and over again that they don't know anything and that their education is not really sound. Dr. Creflo Dollar, there's no excuse for him getting on television and presenting this material as fact or as being legitimate in any way, when any person can get on the internet, search what he said, and find that it's false. He should already know this. And see, the reason this is problematic, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm making such a big deal out of this is because the preacher already has a credibility problem. Well, at least let's talk about America. The preacher already has a credibility problem. I'm talking about the preacher. I'm talking about preachers in general. The message of the gospel is not readily received anyway. But see, but when you, on top of that, when you lie to people and give them information that is not sound, that is not true, and then they go and find what you're telling them is not true, then you push them further and further away from church. You push them further and further away from, you close the door to them receiving any message that you have to communicate with them, no matter how sincere or how beneficial that message may be. So, just to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, this story about this hole and all, drill to hell and all that is a hoax. And I also want to say, all you people that have these books like Divine Revelation of Hell, Pigs in the Parlor, what are some of these other books? All these books about hell and demons. You all need to take these books and throw these books directly in the trash can, because that's where they belong. These books are responsible for messing a lot of people's understanding up about hell, about the scriptures, about who Christ is, about who God is, and about the supernatural. It's promoting a lot of foolishness, and it's ultimately leading a lot of people away from Christ, and leading them away from a healthy Christian relationship and healthy spiritual life. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Creflo Dollar should be ashamed of himself. If anyone knows Dr. Creflo Dollar, you should tell him that what he is promoting is indeed a hoax, and that if he's putting any DVDs out with this message, he should pull those DVDs. Thanks, and God bless.